Hello and welcome to the Lehigh Valley Food Podcast. My name is Jacoby, and here with me I have Tim and the whole crew, and we are at Drip Beef Flavor Lab, talking with Andrew Murtha.
So yeah, this place is really cool, actually. I love the interior. Who designed it?
Yeah, thank you. I just painted everything white and then took Sharpies to the wall.
That's super cool.
That's pretty much it.
That's pretty awesome.
It's a $0 renovation.
Yeah, but it works really well. It
Yeah,
does work
I kind
really,
of
really
wanted
well.
to get like the skipping school and having a cheeseburger vibe, so it's kind of got a little rebellious vibe to it.
Yeah.
But where are you from?
From the Buffalo area, from a little town
New
called
York.
Boston, New York.
Okay.
I'm surprised you don't have wings on the menu then. Unless you do.
Well, you do enough wings, you're never going to do them again.
Or
right?
the wings,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sometimes I crave them, but I just too much.
Yeah.
Too much.
Yeah.
man.
Totally fair. Totally fair. You can always have them as a special once in a while.
Sure.
Wing burger.
So you came from up there. We were talking a little bit before we started recording the show, and you had said that you had kind of like a fine dining background. What does that really entail?
I mean, I just kind of came up, cooking on the line, and ended up kind of seeking out places to learn and places to get better. A desire to learn and grow, perfect my craft. I spent some time in Philly, worked for Steven Starr, and got to spend time with all the amazing chefs in that entire group. And the really great part about that, aside from the chefs I learned from, was every tasting for the entire restaurant group happened off the station I was working. So any sous chef in the nation that wanted to work in the restaurant group in one of those 50 plus restaurants, I got to see them do their best stuff every day. So I'd go in early, help them navigate their way around the kitchen, see what they were doing, do my prep alongside them. I was just surrounded by great people, and
awesome.
I absorbed a lot. It doesn't make me special. It just means I was put myself in the right place at the right time.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely works. We got a chance to taste two items on the menu, the Filet-O chicken and the Big Mick.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
Yeah. Super fun. I mean, fine dining's great, but you can't do it forever. This is really a fun place. I want to kind of have people learn from me, run it, kind of duplicate it, have a good time, not be overly stressed or, not sleeping throughout the night because I'm worried about what the farmer's going to bring, what my, menu's going to be. And
absolutely. It seems like you guys have a great atmosphere in here as far as workers go.
Yeah, super fun. Everybody has a good time.
Yeah. Based off the quality of the food that we did get to taste, obviously the training and stuff that you had in the fine dining world is influenced into those burgers because somebody off the street can't cook like that. It's really that simple. Even down to the sauces you make, you could tell that they're very well crafted. Did you go to culinary school or anything?
I didn't. I went for like communications, poli-sci, stuff like that. It just wasn't for me. And
I understand that.
I was cooking my way through college and kind of just paid my way. But I kind of fell in love with, this is in 99, 2000. And I just really fell in love with the creative side of it and the camaraderie and that kind of pirate ship kind of atmosphere that was apparent kind of back in the day. And it just gave me a lot of joy to just make something with my hands that made someone happy.
Yeah.
I'm not the most social person in the world, so it's a really great way for me to connect with people and communicate with them, and served kind of as an icebreaker in my young adult life, where you have to go to the table and talk to these people. But, it's a great way to connect with humans, I think.
No, absolutely. And I always say that food is essentially an art form, and if you're going to do it correctly, you have yourself kind of put on the plate in front of the person, and you're telling the story of why this dish exists in that plate. And I think that you managed to do that in kind of what you called we'll say an upscale fast food style food.
Yeah, kind of a middle finger to fast food. But I mean, it is spiritual in a lot of ways, especially when you're doing it at a high level. But it's fun also to kind of take your talents and meet people in their common ground. I was telling you a little earlier, I'm new here. I kind of see fast food chains and, some a lot of commercial things.
Yeah.
Just like any other town. I mean, I'm from a steel town too. It's, Bethlehem Steel is what Buffalo is.
Yeah.
But it's fun. It's fun to meet people on their common ground, give them something they're going to enjoy, and do it at a really high level.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
And it's fun. It's a good place. It's a fun place to be.
You came from Buffalo and you went to Philly. Did you go there for college or?
So I was cooking in Buffalo, and I kind of, this was a long time ago. Wow. But I kind of got to, the apex of, what I could do in Buffalo at the time. It's changed a lot for the good. And I kind of started looking around and found this place my brother-in-law was actually a food runner at, and started looking at the menu and the wine list and everything like that. And I got a stage, which is a tryout. And I was a new homeowner, had a car, a house, everything like that. And I just dropped everything and drove overnight to Philly and lived pretty much out of a duffel bag for 6 months or so until everything got settled down. I mean, you're making $10 an hour just so you can learn.
Absolutely.
As opposed to, having a salary and being big fish, small pond kind of thing. So I just kept paying my mortgage. My cousin Chris, love him. He's my best friend. He just watched the house and was like, I'll be back when I can be back. And it was a couple years. Like
there you go.
My car just rotting in the driveway, just like, forget it. Who cares?
So how'd you land all the way up here from Philadelphia then?
Well, I did go back home to Buffalo. I did a lot of restaurant openings, but ended up kind of coming down here for a fresh start. And, my wife at the time was from here, so I just kind of know a lot of people around here. And what really sold me on the area was the land, just driving through. I could just see myself, retiring in the hills and being super weird and growing a long beard and only eating things I grow and just being a hermit for the rest of my life. So
I mean, that sounds pretty great, to be honest.
That's my goal, to basically live in a hobbit house and just be as weird as possible.
I mean, this place is very rapidly changing. It's a booming area, surprisingly. I moved to Philly for a while myself, but I grew up here and I ended up moving back. And it's very different from what it was when I was a kid.
Yeah, it's growing a lot. A lot of people from bigger cities are moving here. So, and we see that in our clientele.
Yeah.
But it's exciting. It's an exciting time for, people to live and especially open businesses in the Lehigh Valley.
Absolutely.
It's a great time.
Absolutely.
So what made you settle in on the burger and ice cream parlor type of thing? Like, why'd you go that way? Was it just because people around here, you could see like Wendy's, McDonald's, and that's kind of what they want?
Because it's the closest thing to people's hearts.
Yeah.
I think. And, like I mentioned, common ground before, who doesn't connect with that? People that kind of go vegan, we have a whole vegan online menu. We take really good care of them here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we want them to have fun too. So almost anything on the menu can be vegan as well.
Nice.
But I think I settled on it just because it makes people happy.
Yeah.
For
sure.
Yeah. And it makes me happy. And I remember skipping class and going and getting a double quarter pounder and be like, no one knows I'm here. This is the best thing ever. Just doing things like 14-year-olds shouldn't do. And,
oh, yeah.
feeling free and feeling alive.
I've definitely spent my
there.
fair share of skipped classes in a McDonald's.
Yes.
So.
It was a way of life, I think the year after I left, they installed cameras in the school.
So you own the place with Bob. He does the brewing for beer and ciders.
Yeah, Bob does all
this
small batch stuff. I think you got to try a couple, but there's dozens of little batches of wonderfulness that sometimes we put them out as cocktails. You can always get a flight of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, super fun.
How did you end up meeting Bob?
I couldn't really sit on the couch for Corona. I couldn't.
Understandable.
Maybe a couple weeks, and I was like, just started poking around town to see if anybody wanted to do something fun, and I didn't really, tout myself or anything like that. I was just kind of feeling people out.
Yep.
And you'd be surprised how many restaurants in Hellertown didn't want to hire me, which is hilarious. But I met Bob, and I just found somebody that was really energetic, total 60s guy, open to new things, wants to do weird shit. And that's my kind of people.
That's totally fine, by the way. We were talking to him a little bit. I guess he had a place here before that was named something different. So when you say you're new here, you're really new here.
Yes.
This was renamed to the Drip in November?
November. Yeah, that's around when I started.
Okay.
So we kind of decided to go a different direction together.
Totally fair.
That was what I was looking for. So I just put tinfoil on the windows and put, this isn't a meth lab, don't worry, on a sign. And started painting. And, it was Corona, so I got to take my time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And do a little bit of, amateur graffiti, which is pretty closely related to food if you think about it. Food, graffiti, the temporary arts. But
it's absolutely true.
We just encourage that here. We encourage people to be artistic, be themselves, put their own specials out with, moderate guidance really from me. And it's all about having a good time and being yourself.
Absolutely. Totally fair. Like I said, you guys did a great job on this place. The combination, I think, of pairing the, the handcrafted beer and the handcrafted ciders and the, quality burgers and everything else. Do you guys ever do kind of like pairing menus almost, where it's like there's a specific beer that Bob creates that you have a menu item that's meant to go with it?
Not from the ground up, but I mean, it's our philosophy on the food side is like do 5 things perfectly before you try to be something else. Everybody kind of has their typical appetizer section and then like a whole Italian pasta section and a Southern barbecue section. Just stop.
Yeah.
Do 5 things perfectly, get the processes down, get them in place, make them duplicatable.
Yep.
And let people kind of bounce off that and, let them sing over those foundational rhythms and bass lines. And
definitely the way to do it.
You see that stuff spike out, on Facebook, on Instagram, and we kind of keep that Rolodex, where we can, essentially there's a secret menu. If someone had something before and we can do it again, we do. But we want people to be able to play, in their own way here too. So
very cool.
We keep it simple.
A lot of the items on the menu, a lot of the ingredients are made by you. Like, how much of that is like, we'll say local or like homemade?
Everything is homemade except for a couple items. Like there's no way we have enough space to do the buns.
Right.
So our baker, Jamie, he's in Long Island. That was probably the most difficult thing about building the concept was how to get the bread there. I kind of engineered this bun with him and bounced off recipes gram by gram.
Yep.
And the whole question looming was, how am I going to get this? So we actually have a company that goes there, picks them up, and drives them all the way back here. Makes almost no sense, but it's a lot better than just getting like a,
random
stale bun that, just there's no love there. The bun is engineered for burgers. It's not going to get too soggy. It's going to, play off it. It's a brioche, but there's not too much sugar in it. You don't have to grease it up to toast it on the grill. It toasts itself.
That's actually really funny. When we were taking the photo of the chicken sandwich, I got too low of an angle, and I was like, "Oh man, the light is coming straight through the top of the chicken under the bun." I was like, "That is like the perfect crisp."
You want a little bit of crisp in there. You have to have it.
Yeah,
textures are important. We cut the lettuce, everything like right before service.
Yeah.
It's crunchy. The onions are cut thinly, so they fold right in with the lettuce and disappear almost. We don't want these big rabbit food slices of onion and tomato on there that it's almost a chore. It kind of ruins the whole thing. So we're really deliberate about our knife work.
Yeah, absolutely.
The cucumbers and the side salads are kind of they slide right in there. Everything's done for a reason.
Yeah.
And all those little things combined end up becoming this great experience. You're not going to notice them all.
No.
There's no way. But but we've got it down to a science, and
Absolutely.
we're happy when people enjoy
No,
it.
it definitely seems like you guys know exactly what you're doing here, and I'm excited to see how it kind of like grows. And
Yeah, we are too. It's starting to really pick up. So we're starting to see people come from other towns, and people coming off the 78. So it's really exciting.
You guys have events here at all? You ever just have like a live band or?
We had a meeting about that this morning. So we don't want to do it wrong.
Right.
So that's step one. But we're talking about how we execute our processes at events, offsite, outside, getting tents, everything like that. So we have a really good presence, and we can do it right. So no one yells at us, and people have a good time.
Absolutely.
Those are good things. But we're getting there. We're getting there. Staff is growing. Everybody's kind of coming out of their houses and looking for jobs. So we kind of have, for the first time, a full team that we care about and we believe in.
Awesome. Yeah, it's a really good space to do like little open mic nights and stuff, even inside here.
It definitely is. It definitely is. We're looking for a trivia guy. So
Ooh, nice.
We want to do trivia nights just for the fun of it. I really just want to do it so I can participate.
Any specific kind of trivia?
I have no idea. We talked about doing a Harry Potter one, Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, obviously, but
Nice.
that'll be up to the host. I don't know.
It's funny you mentioned you had enough time, like with the pandemic. Once you started this restaurant, other restaurants were scrambling to figure out what to do, right? Did you see any effects of that? Like
We did.
I mean, it was
So-
kind of towards the end.
Yeah,
So-
the timing, it was favorable. We
Right.
thought it would be a lot more favorable. So we were renovating, like walking up to the election, and then we kind of thought things would change a lot right after the election, but they really didn't. So there was a tough period. There's days I would be the only one, or me and Bob would be the only ones here. Super slow days. But we made it through, and we made it kind of, to the other side of that path, and we're just glad to have that few months behind us, definitely.
You're new here, generally speaking, right? Have you ever thought of going to Music Fest?
I've been to Music Fest. I've been to Music Fest once. But do you mean taking this concept
as a
there?
vendor, yeah.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. I would love to do that. I think this coming Music Fest, I'll be ready to do that. So,
I think that would be super successful down there.
yeah. And, it's built, like I talked a lot about processes. One of the things we did was we kind of engineered with the machinist this way to produce a really great burger in 60 seconds. So it's great for events. It's great for crowds, things like that. It's built for that. So, yeah, we'd be super into that.
Do you have anything past that maybe you're going to do, like new, anything seasonal, any event that you might be doing? Anything to look forward to?
Nothing really jumps out. My main concern right now is getting my staff time with their families for the holidays.
Right.
Understandable.
Especially, we're a small team, so I want everyone to have that time. Like for Labor Day weekend, there was a couple of hiccups, so we're like, you know what? Close the restaurant. Close it for 2 days. Everyone go home, take 3 or 4 days, and just be with your families.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I mean, that's the number one priority. Events are going to happen relatively soon, but nothing huge on the horizon.
Maybe trivia night.
Maybe trivia
Maybe
night. Yeah,
trivia night.
we're going to be going places and like handing stuff out, but we want to build the cookout thing well and like kind of test it out with small groups before we even do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we have a game that we like to play to wrap up the show.
Okay.
I wish we had brought the other item that I wanted to bring.
Why?
It would have been more difficult.
No,
But-
dude, it'd been fine. That's good. It's over there.
So what we do is we basically we bring an item randomly that we find in our cabinets or pick up at the store.
Okay.
And ask you how you'll cook it into a 5-star dish. This one's kind of simple.
It's a jar of tikka masala. It's definitely not from India.
no,
No.
It's from Aldi's.
it's definitely from Aldi's.
Nailed it. Oh my god. I don't know. I would just braise some thighs in it, I think.
Yeah?
Yeah, and then maybe push rice into them. If you want to go, off the wall with it, maybe take that and wrap it in caul fat and cover it in chicken demi.
Yeah.
Get something crunchy on there, roll it in some crispy potato crumbs, and
What about turning it into something that fits your menu?
I'm about to say I'm kind of glad you
Okay.
didn't just say I'm going to slap it on a burger and call it a day.
Yeah, just pour it over there. I don't know. I mean, I might want to do like rice balls with it,
Okay.
Okay.
Interesting.
or something like that, something small. Because I mean, it's the law of diminished returns. So you want to taste this 2 or 3 times and then it goes away.
Yeah.
You move on to the next thing. You don't want to sit there and grind on this for like 5 hours. So I would say small bite.
That's
Chicken
totally fair.
oysters. Like I said, something crispy on there. A little bit of that sauce.
Awesome.
Nice.
Maybe pass it through fine mesh and like just clean the sauce up a little bit. Get it nice and smooth.
Yeah.
Very cool.
It's a little
See,
chunky.
I was going to bring coconut
I
powder.
like it chunky.
Actually would make a pretty good appetizer if you did something with it.
Yeah, just a couple little bites. That's all you need.
Especially being from Aldi. It probably has no flavor at all.
Aldi's is underrated.
It is underrated, but some of their stuff is a little bit.
I like cheap stuff.
Andrew, it's been a pleasure having you on.
Yes. Thank you guys.
It's been a very cool restaurant, delicious food. Definitely check it out. It's the Drip Flavor Lab in Hellertown. And
Right along Main Street, dude.
yeah, right along Main Street.
And there's parking in the rear, so
There is parking.
Easy
I don't
to
know if
get
we were
to.
supposed to use it, but I did.